future. They'll think it's strange. The voice.
Anyone over the age of 30, the future's bright, they will normally reply with, the future's orange. It is embedded in most people's minds and for many is part of popular culture, arguably one of the UK's greatest brand success stories. The future's bright, the future's orange is one of the key drivers behind Orange's success as a brand. From fourth entrant in 1994 to nearly 10 million customers by the turn of the millennium, and the market leader by 2002. But what does it take for someone to create such an iconic slogan that has stood the test of time for nearly 30 years? Who planted that tiny pip that bloomed into that giant orange tree? I present to you the man himself, Larry Barker.
Hello, Luke.
And here we are with Larry Barker. How are you, sir?
Very good indeed.
I mean, to be fair, that has, we all remember the future's bright, the future's orange, but I will counter that with the idea that mobile phones became quite big, didn't they? And are you saying they wouldn't have been, Orange, the mobile phone company, wouldn't have been as big without that slogan? I don't know. And it doesn't exist in the UK anymore, no, yeah. So, but I think they probably, with a different slogan and a marketing push, they would have still sold a lot of contracts on their phone units, wouldn't they?
That's not for you, but it's a...
But agreed, it was a good slogan and it was popular.
You'll do.
I'll do. Fair enough.
He's got his cup straight off. He's doing his cup straight away. It's the cup.
And that's not for you, but it says you'll do.
I'll do. Fair enough.
You started your career in advertisement.
This one's edited.
And are the creator of many highly awarded campaigns, taking top prizes at the British Television Awards,
Yep.
New York Clios,
Yes, indeed.
and at Cannes. Everyone has that one campaign etched in their memory. They listed 15 campaigns that made marketing history. I picked out the top 4. Number 1 is the Real Dove Beauty campaign. Number 2 is the Skittles Taste the Rainbow.
Taste the rainbow.
Touch the rainbow. Taste the rainbow.
Number 3 is the Budweiser What's Up.
What's up?
Number 4, I'm pleased to say, is the future's bright, the future's orange. And you're the man that writ that. You're the man that came up with that.
The other thing that's good about that
That writ that.
is that it's a UK advertising campaign that's exported rather than the others are all American ones exported. So it's a bit of homegrown stuff there.
The pride of British advertisement, I would say.
Absolutely.
Do you remember first being asked to come up with a slogan for Orange?
I do remember, and what I mainly remember was saying, "What a stupid name." And
Orange?
Yeah. Well,
Oh, wow, okay.
we thought it was a terrible name, mainly because Apple was out there already, so that just seemed like a dumb thing to call something. The idea of it being a brand was quite different. It kept saying it's very important that orange is not a fruit. Why do you call it orange then? That was a bit stupid. Orange is a colour. It's not a colour either. Okay, well, what is it?
It's a brand.
Orange is a brand, okay. And also people had a sort of fear of technology. It was a bit like today. People worry about the future. And computers were just about getting a grip on people's lives.
The internet was on its way, wasn't it?
Yeah, internet was just about to happen. Then there's a sort of general, oh my god, we're going to be taken over by robots. There was one town where they'd got rid of all the wires by going wireless. I just thought, me and my partner thought, well, that's sort of like a positive. This idea of taking what everyone thought was a negative and could be a positive just started, making sense, really. And that's where the idea came from, that you, in the future, we're just going to do what we've always done before. We're going to talk, we're going to laugh, we're going to cry. We're just going to do it differently. Technology is going to make what we do better. And that's really where the idea of the future's bright, the future's orange came from. There's two things which already exist. The future's bright is a sort of thought that exists.
Were you involved in the writing of the whole ad or just the actual slogan? Were you involved in that, or was it purely the future's bright, the future's orange, which you
No, for the first 3-4 campaigns, we wrote everything.
But the actual slogan was yourself?
Slogan and all the words in the commercials, yeah. And the idea of the commercials, yeah. I came up with the list of words, don't worry, the future's bright, the future's orange, and all those, what the world's going to be like. But yeah, no, we wrote all of it. I mean, we wouldn't let anyone else do it, really. We were quite proud of it, really. It was our baby.
What is the process of creating slogans?
Well, you just got to keep going, and you write hundreds and hundreds down, and you fill pages and pages of paper. But I mean, what the one we had was just I just scrawled it in the corner of a pad, and the guy who ran the agency came and said, "What's that?" I said, "Oh, it's the thing I'm thinking about." He was like, he tore it off and sort of ran off with it. Look, this is the one. And there's always a fear that it's going to sound poncy, you know. So you think, well, really, you know, can we get away with that? The brand was so, it was so cool, so designery. There came a point within about the first 6 months where people, we found this out naturally, where people were cutting out little bits of orange card and sticking them to their phone to make it look like they had an orange phone. So then we knew we got it right.
When you wrote "The future's bright, the future's orange," in that first instance, or when it popped into the mind, and when you wrote it down, did you know you had something special?
No, because he wrote it in the corner of the margin of the page, and then someone else had to tear it off and say, "I think this is special. I'm taking this right to the top. We're doing it this one." He didn't know. No, Luke. He just told you the answer to the question. So why are you asking this question now?
Right away.
Yeah, my partner at the time said, "That's good, that."
That's the one.
Obviously, what you do is you take a word, you think of how many words can you fiddle around with that fit with that word, you know. So, bright orange is a description of a colour. It's bright orange, and somewhere else
It's a great colour.
yeah, a bright future. Something you say, you know, someone's got a bright future, and I think these two things from various bits of the pad sort of collided. I think, you know, I mean, we probably went, you know, bright future, bright orange, or bright, you know, and then you slowly worm it round until you get that thing that's got that rhythm and does the job. I mean, the main thing is it did the job that we wanted, that our initial thinking was about, which is about the future's not going to be grim and it's not going to be like the Matrix, you know. It's actually, you know, I mean, we were wrong, of course. But,
yeah, totally. Because here we are now in this day and age.
Yeah,
everyone's awoke. So was the feeling amongst like the team when you said, "Look," yeah, totally.
The Matrix thinking was about, which is about the future's not going to be grim and it's not going to be like the Matrix, you know. It's actually, you know, I mean, we were wrong, of course. But,
yeah, totally. Because here we are now in this day and age.
Yeah,
everyone's awoke. So was the feeling amongst like the team when you said, "Look, I've got this. The future's bright. The future's orange." Was the feeling amongst the team quite? Was there a bit of a feeling?
People went, "Oh, God, that's powerful."
Would you imagine that nearly 30 years later, people would still reference it?
No.
Would you have thought that then?
No, not at all. Not at all. It's after about 3 or 4 years of the campaign, you knew this was going to. You knew it was going to sort of last for a bit, you know, and they never changed it. They never changed it until the orange brand disappeared. Yeah, there was football commentary that talked about, you know, the Dutch scored a goal and someone said the future right, and you sort of sense you'd hit a sort of, I don't know, hit some sort of nerve. People got it, you know.
What was the feeling like when you saw the advert for the first time on TV?
Well, by then I'd seen it about 7,000 times. So.
Bored of it.
And we got a lot of flack from some people who said, "Oh, you know, it's not saying anything. You know, it's got no product in it. You know, very you know, boring comments like that." But I was quite pleased with those because that was the whole point. It was different.
Yeah,
it was different. You know,
it ran until 2008, so it ran for 14 years.
Yeah, that is a long time actually for strapline. I mean, you know,
14 years.
Yeah, they come and go. You know,
He looks a bit like Angry Alan, doesn't he?
Good.
Well, not that. Little seed did turn into a giant orange tree.
And it did.
30 years later. How were the weeks and months after it was launched?
Now he looks a bit like John Major.
Pressure? Is it excitement? Is it nervy? Or is your job done?
No, the job's not done, because then really you have to make it work harder. Usually, the main commercial didn't say much on purpose. It just made the brand look good. Off the back of it, a series of smaller commercials which did more of the hard work.
Would you say that this campaign was the biggest success in your advertisement career?
Yeah, I'd have thought so. Yeah.
Before we came round to do this story of Orange, I spoke to many people. I was testing them. The future's bright, and just straight away, the future's orange came back. So for 30 years later, to have that is quite a huge success.
That's not
Do you still
bad.
get royalties? You still get royalties.
I get a penny.
That pretty much sums up
Of course, he doesn't get any fucking royalties from what?
the story of Orange. And I think it's a very highly successful campaign, and to still be talking about it all this time later, and for people to still reference it, and it to still be in popular culture, everybody knows this campaign. So, you know, respect to you, fair play to you for that. Like, you know, hopefully one day I produce a piece of work which in 30 years' time, some youngster will sit me down and interview me about that work I did 30 years ago.
Well, let's hope that youngster becomes a police official and can sit down and interview you under caution about it in the future. Yeah, that'd be wonderful.
I hope you do too. People.
What a weird what a weird interview. So questions arise. How do you know this man? Is he the Ronnie Barker's son? Like, what's going on with that? What?
Your surname is Barker.
It's Ronnie Barker's son, look. It's Ronnie Barker's son.
Correct.
And you do have a certain resemblance to a certain Ronnie Barker.
It's the glasses.
That's it. It's the glasses. I knew there was something about you. Can you tell us who Ronnie Barker is to yourself?
He's was old man. He's dead.
That's class. What a legend. Well, now people know that. They'll probably... It's very hard to unsee.
Where's the glasses though, doesn't he? I mean, this is a different son. This is a different son, but it's one of Ronnie Barker's sons. Ronnie Barker's paedophile son sells house where he hoarded child pornography for 450 grand profit. Adam Barker has sold Ealing West London home for £500,000. Reports claim the paedophile bought the property in 1991 for 100 grand, was arrested in 2003 for child pornography offences, went on the run for 8 years, was jailed for 12 months, received 1.4 million inheritance from his late father's estate, co-runs Handles for Forks, which deals Ronnie's work. Co-runs? Who does he co-run it with? The other brother? It was co-created in 2012 by Barker and his two siblings, Charlotte and advertising executive Lawrence, 53. So this is Lawrence that Luke's been talking to. Wow. I mean, that's bad, isn't it? This guy, Larry Barker, has written for people like Stephen Fry, Hugh Laurie, Harry Enfield and Paul Hogan. But you don't know, like, you know, people put things on their CVs, but apparently he's done that. His work was the Levi's Swimmer, the Haagen-Dazs Sexy campaign, and the launch of the Orange brand. So sex sells then. Sex sells. I'm surprised he wasn't allowed to use sex to sell the Orange brand, since the Levi's Swimmer campaign was very saucy men, wasn't it? and the Haagen-Dazs sexy campaign was sex ice cream. Having risen to the top of the ladder, executive creative director of the world's most creative agency, president of D&AD Advertising Oscars, he realised he was becoming increasingly removed from the thing he loved most, writing and shooting, so he decided to commit himself to writing for the screen. He secured options on his first 3 screenplays, which means they haven't gone anywhere. He's got others in development. Currently working on a commissioned screenplay about the 1st century Jewish Roman historian, Josephus. He's the son of Ronnie Barker. So it sounds like he made a load of money in advertising, and now he's just doing his scripts. Which aren't, like, and they exist. And you can pay him to write things for you. An ambitious young music therapy teacher ends up being taught a lesson by a choir of geriatrics, a heartwarming and hilarious story, a screenplay by Larry Barker. The Spec Worker Commission. Spec's where I tell the stories I want to tell and try and convince other people they need to turn them into big Hollywood films, which hasn't happened. Commissions are, you pay me to do it. Now, he's written this all funny, like a... Okay, money isn't the main... I said, let's not even talk about money. Okay, money isn't the main thing. I want paying, of course, but not silly money. The truth is I'm too old to work on projects that don't excite me. If the project's good, we'll find a way. I'm happy to work the way you work. Outlines, beat sheets, step outlines, straight to pages, dream on Barker. Face-to-face meetings, Skype, carrier pigeon. It's about getting the job done. If you want samples, I can send you samples. If you need to speak to people, I can give you names. If you need to speak to me or my agent, head straight to the contacts page. It's a really weirdly written thing, that is. How I work. Bonfire, This Land, a comedy drama. Like, you know, Luke said he's written a script. Like, what's even going on here? Like, I'll just say this, yeah, and you can just hear me say it, and it's just the thing. Why is it everyone that Luke fucking interacts with seems so fucking weirdly noncy? Like, this guy's got a paedophile brother. They've got so much money they can sit on their ass doing what they want, like writing screenplays, and he's there doing interviews with Luke on his channel. I just get a really weird vibe from it. I get a sort of Clement Freud vibe from it. Is Luke not involved in some sort of fucking paedophile hierarchy behind the scenes here or something, or what? Peter Folding flying his helicopter into schools. Like, just every time I dig into it like this, it always ends up like this, doesn't it? It's not my fault. Creepy man with a paedophile for a brother. I mean, it's not his fault that his brother's a paedophile, I suppose, but fucking hell, when I typed in his details and it came up with, like, paedophile brother, like, you know, when I typed in Ronnie Barker's son and then it came up with that. Like, you type in Ronnie Barker's son, like, so this is another thing, right? Can't get your head around this. Get your head around this, right? Luke's called this interview, Growing Up with Ronnie Barker Is My Dad. Yeah? He's called this interview, Growing Up with Ronnie Barker Is My Dad. Well, when you type in Ronnie Barker's son, you get all this stuff about paedophiles. So if Luke was like, yeah, hey, I've done an interview with Ronnie Barker's son, just Google Ronnie Barker's son, you'll find it. Growing up with Ronnie Barker as my dad. His video does come up first, thank God. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Like, I suppose you might have to just do the business altogether if you're the 3 children, but like, if you had any fucking stinky suspicions about this one, would you really want him in your business? You're right, Nigel, it is, isn't it? It's like under all these fucking, like, obviously Peter Folding hasn't like turned out to be a paedophile necessarily, but like it is though, isn't it? It's like they all seem to connect in this fucking weird way, and the Manchester scene and the Luke thing that's going on is just really fucking weird. And you had Peter Folding on, John Wedger, you got the Belfast boys, like it just feels like a fucking pedo ring. Luke's worked in the care homes, he's held the kids down, he's took them out on the trips. TV business, yeah. Like, it's all the things, isn't it? Like, you've had Jimmy Savile, like, it's all the things. It just, like, imagine, like, it just feels like, imagine you heard in the news tomorrow that these two had been done for being part of a pedo ring, you'd just be like, all right, yeah. Like, it's not like that surprised me, did it? Like, Peter Folding's involved as well, is he? All right, okay. John Wedger, all right, yeah. Like, you know, it just... Fucking hell.
Unsee that you are the image of your dad. Your dad is a national treasure. He's an absolute comedy genius.
Your brother's not.
I'm without question TV royalty.
So between his dad and his brother, there's quite 2 ends of a spectrum there. Everyone loves and respected Ronnie Barker, but I'm not saying Ronnie Barker was a pedo, yeah? I'm just saying everyone loved him and thought he was great. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you've got his son, which no one thinks is great, everyone thinks is bad. And then in the middle, you've got his other son, which is more like his son than it is Ronnie Barker in a way, isn't he? I don't know. I'm not saying he's a paedophile. I'm not getting sued by this guy for saying he's a paedophile. They've got millions of pounds. I'm only doing fair comment on YouTube, having a laugh. You know? But fucking hell. It's not my fault his brother's... Like, that's not my fault, is it? It's what his brother done, so... And it's not his fault either, I said that. So.
A master of timing. As a writer, he was a generational super talent. A producer.
We'll listen to a little bit of this, and then I'm going to go and listen to Luke's video about how he met his people that are going to be his guests again and find out what his relationship is with this man.
A hawkeye of an editor. Perfectionist. An innovator. A wordsmith. Simply one of the best ever. I hope he would like those words.
I'm pretty sure he would, yes.
Hope he'd appreciate that. And that's come from, that's me, that's not research, that is completely me, that's my opinion. I think he's just another level, and I think he'll go down I think he'll be spoken about in 100 years' time. He is the receiver of 4 BAFTA awards, and he's got 2 Lifetime Achievement Awards.
Uh-huh.
Which I've never heard of that before. 2 Lifetime Achievement Awards. That's how good he was.
Really?
Now, following the success of the 2 Ronnies, the BBC let your dad decide what he wanted to do. Ronnie Barker opted to produce some sitcom pilots. 2 of these pilots, Open All Hours and Prisoner and Escort, became series. Prisoner and Escort became Porridge, with Ronnie Barker starring as the cynical and cunning prisoner, Norman Stanley.
2 Lifetime Achievement Awards. Same.
Fletcher. What was it like growing up with your dad being one of the most famous and recognisable people in the UK?
The thing is, I mean, I have nothing to compare it to. So when people ask that question, I always say, I don't know. It just seemed that seemed normal to me. I would wonder what it would be like to not have a famous
Yeah,
dad, because it's
that's all you've known.
all you've known. I remember it being intrusive for him at times. We used to have a house down on the coast, south coast in Littlehampton, which we had to sell up in the end because he couldn't go out. He couldn't go out the door.
Because he was too recognised.
Well, you just get mobbed. He's a very private individual around you, and it's like, well,
Yeah.
that's no fun.
It's interesting to ask the question because it's not the norm for 99%,
No.
99.9%, but for you it was. So it's an interesting answer. So with your dad being so well known and prominent in the public eye, how was he able to separate his TV life from his life at home with the family?
He was very funny at home. I mean, he'd write at home, but he would be quite.
Oh, he would write. He would write at home.
Yeah. But he'd have a tree he'd go and sit under, and we'd all know that he would be writing from 10 till lunchtime. He didn't really start writing till the two Ronnies, so that was about 72, wasn't it? I think. And he wasn't interested in any sort of celebrity life at all. So he didn't.
It just was it a byproduct?
Yeah. I mean, he wouldn't go to do's, he wouldn't go to functions and turn up.
Oh, really?
Well, he would if he had to. And he would if, I mean, he often did it, he did it more for my mum than himself, because my mum would like to meet people, and be nice.
Yeah.
To go and say, oh, there's Michael Caine or whatever, you know what I mean? Whereas I think if he had a choice, would just be home with the family.
Have you got any funny or interesting anecdotes about any of your dad's famous friends who came to the house to visit?
I remember Jimmy Perry.
I remember when Bill Cosby came round. That was bad. And I also remember when Jimmy Savile came round. That was really bad. And I've got a funny story about how when Puff Daddy came round, and that was bad. And then he was friends with Jeffrey Epstein, and that was bad.
There's Army getting into the playpen with my eldest son, when he was about 1.5 and sitting and playing with him. And you think that's odd, but actually it's not. He was just a 65-year-old man who was mucking and playing around with the kids,
What?
Yeah.
Like your uncle. There's Army getting into the playpen.
Funny or interesting anecdotes about any of your dad's famous friends who came to the house to visit?
I remember Jimmy Perry was There's Army getting into the playpen with my eldest son, when he was about 1.5 and sitting and playing with him. And you think that's odd, but actually it's not. He was just a 65-year-old man who was mucking and playing around with the kids, like your uncle was or something, But so it was almost the audience to these people so once you're over the fact that it's Bob Monkhouse, then they'd be talking about mortgages and stuff, and it wasn't a big show thing. I mean, a few people were. I mean, I think we ran into Danny LaRue a few times, and he was a early drag artist, and he was very, so there's a few like that, But mainly, there were Jason and Richard Bryars. Barry Cry, just really ordinary people,
Is there any favourite sketches or shows?
Well, the show
for you?
Show would be Porridge.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was his best work. There's a few good sketches.
There's a few. There's a few dozen. Can I share a couple of mine with you?
Yeah, please do.
I love Round of Drinks.
Yeah, it's good.
I think I love Round of Drinks and the Mastermind.
Yeah.
What I found with a lot of the two Ronnie sketches, which is genius, and I'm sure it was purposely done.
Same.
You don't.
I mean, I think with my eldest son, he does more for my mum than himself, because my mum would like to meet people, and be nice.
Yeah.
To go and say, oh, there's Michael Caine or whatever, you know what I mean? Whereas I think if he had a choice, would just be home with the family.
Have you got any funny or interesting anecdotes about any of your dad's famous friends who came to the house to visit?
I remember Jimmy Perry was There's Army getting into the play.
How do you write? Oh, you keep on sitting on the microphone.
I know.
How do you write together? Do you ring each other up? Do you sit at the same desk?
We face each other and write line for line.
Do you really? Do you read out each line to each other?
Oh, yes, and write it down, and we read it back to each other and laugh like mad, because we think we're awfully good playing the part.
He's so nice. We do, you know, we just sit there, don't we, day after day.
Oh.
Do you get on each other's nerves ever?
You answer that question, David.
I don't think so.
I must get on his nerves, because I'm a Virgo. I'm a fusspot. He's a Virgo.
I'm a Virgo.
How do you do?
I'm a Virgo too.
He's a Virgo, but he's not a right one. He's not a fusspot. He's not a fusspot like
No, I'm not a fusspot. No, I'm very tolerant, actually, and over the years, I've grown accustomed to his pipe. I've been enduring it for years. It's like some awful nature cure. I think he smokes manure. He prods and stuffs, then lights, then puffs. And this pollution fills the air until it almost disappears. And then he bangs it on the mantelpiece. It's not my favourite sound. All those black, wet, sticky bits go flying all around. And yet, he says it helps his brain. So, I must remain accustomed to his pipe.
Brilliant. Accustomed to his pipe. That's the man who got in the playpen with Ronnie Barker's son's child. I mean, there are a couple of queens, yeah? So, it's not... Being gay is not a sex crime. But,
Funny or interesting anecdotes about any of your dad's famous friends who came to the house to visit?
I remember Jimmy Perry, who was right Dad's Army, getting into the playpen with my eldest son, you know, when he was about 1.5 and sitting and playing with him. And you think that's odd, but actually it's not. He was just a 65-year-old man who was mucking and playing around with the kids, you know, just his son, you know, when he was about 1.5 and sitting and playing with him. And you think that's odd, but actually it's not. He was just a 65-year-old man who was mucking and playing around with the kids, you know, like your uncle or something, you know. But so it was almost the ordinance to these people that so once you're over the fact that, oh, it's Bob Monkhouse, then...
Have you got any funny or interesting anecdotes about any of your dad's famous friends who came to the house to visit?
I remember Jimmy Perry, who was right Dad's Army, getting into the playpen with my eldest son, you know, when he was about 1.5 and sitting and playing with him. And you think that's odd, but actually it's not. He was just a 65-year-old man who was mucking and playing around with the kids, you know, like your uncle or something, you know. But so it was almost the ordinance to these people that so once you're over the fact that, oh, it's Bob Monkhouse, then they'd be talking about mortgages and stuff, and you know, it wasn't a big show, but thing. I mean, a few people were. I mean, I think we.
What are you working on at the moment?
It's called You Rang My Lord. It's a sort of comedy upstairs, downstairs. We did a pilot last year, and the series is going out in January.
And I've got news for you, Bill. This morning, David Cross been rehearsing your part, and he's better than you are, so don't bother to come back.
Oh, that's charming, isn't it?
Good morning, all.
What is the secret of this tremendous partnership of yours? I mean, you've done so many successful things. Dad's Army, Ain't Half Hot, Heidi High.
We don't talk to each other.
Don't talk to each other much, except when we're working. That's excellent. No, it works fine because I go over the top. I have these ridiculous ideas, and David sort of straightens them out, and we work together, and it all seems to come out quite nicely. And David's very good at picking excellent actors. Well, we pick the actors.
So's Jimmy. Yeah.
Well, we pick them, and they stick by us. Most of them are on our pension list.
Yeah.
That veteran actor, Bill Pertwee.
I don't like Giles Brandreth. I think Giles Brandreth's well dodgy. I'm not getting a good vibe about this.
Well, this situation did exist. I was running a concert party in a place called Dulani in India, and the Sergeant Major existed and the Colonel existed, and the Sergeant Major was intent on posting us up the jungle, and that was the only way we could stay in this dreadful place, which was better than the jungle, was by running this concert party which the Colonel liked. And the whole situation did exist. But David was in India as well, weren't you?
So yes, we were both in India at the same time, not the same place.
But he was an officer, I was just a bombardier, which is two stripes in the...
Do you reckon you've got a right to a certain extent out of your own experience?
We always have done. I think it's... yes, I think you have to, yes. It's... you have to be able to fall back on solid ideas and solid characters which have some basis in reality, I think.
Because what it is, we've got Ronnie Barker's sons is a paedophile. We got this man used to go and play with Ronnie Barker's sons and his son's sons. Yeah, getting in the crib with them and stuff. So we got that. We've got Luke's interview in the choffer. Let's just have Jimmy Perry's obituary. I mean, he's clearly gay, and so is his writing partner, and it just makes you wonder whether they are a partnership, like, whether they're just writing partners who both happen to be gay. And as I say, homosexuality is not a crime, but getting in the crib with the kids and stuff didn't sound right. He married Gilda. He survived by his partner, the costume designer, Mary Husband. What? In 1953, Perry married the actor Gilda Neilchi. He's survived by his partner, the costume designer, Mary Husband. So did he have a divorce or something? He married this woman from Dad's army. What's going on here? Dad's army creator leaves 1.3 million to his wife of 63 years and 50 grand to his long-term mistress. Probate records reveal Jimmy Perry left 1.3 million to his wife Gilda after his death in October. The 93-year-old also left 50 grand to costume designer Mary Husband. They worked together on shows such as It Ain't Half Hot Mum, Heidi High. He was living with his husband at the time of his death, and his wife was reportedly aware of the relationship. That's the other woman That's the costume designer. What? Although Perry had been married to his wife Gilda since 1953, he was also in a relationship with costume designer Mary Husband. The couple met while working together at the BBC, so this has been going on for ages. For the last 17 years of his life, he split his time between the marital home and the West London home with that other woman. Apparently Gilda knew about it. This is the wife. He inherited £1 million. Well, you know, inherited, she, you know what I mean? This is the wife who got the £1 million, Gilda. And that's the mistress. And I had him down for being gay. I mean, obviously, what?
How do you write? Oh, you keep on sitting on the microphone.
I know.
How do you write together? Do you ring each other up? Do you sit at the same desk?
He's the one in the green crushed velvet jacket with the lemon tie and the coif.
Face each other and write line for line.
Do you really? Do you read out each line to each other?
Oh, yes, and write it down, and we read it back to each other, and laugh like mad, because we think we're awfully good playing the part.
He's so nice. We do, you know, we just sit there, don't we, day after day.
Oh.
Do you get on each other's nerves ever?
You answer that question, David.
I don't think so.
I must get on his nerves, because I'm a Virgo, I'm a fusspot. He's a Virgo.
I'm a Virgo.
How do you...
I'm a Virgo, I'm a fusspot.
I'm a Virgo too.
He's a Virgo, but he's not a right one. He's not a fusspot. He's not a fusspot like
No, I'm not a fusspot. No, I'm very
He's so camp.
tolerant, actually, and over the years,
He's like Lionel fucking Richie. Is anyone still following me here, or are you watching? Well, I've fallen down a fucking giant rabbit hole. The BBC was full of nonces, bear in mind. The BBC was full of nonces. Like, this guy's not officially a nonce. Yeah, he's dead now anyway. But he went round to Ronnie Barker's house. He played with the kids. This guy ended up being a paedophile. I'm assuming he played with him as a kid. Yeah? I'm assuming these guys had played with him as a kid. And he ended up being a paedophile. From the testimony of Luke's interview, this other son, who's not a paedophile, doesn't say that he got played with as a kid, but he says that his kid got played with by this guy, who's not a paedophile. So we're okay, because it's someone who's not a paedophile, and their son, who's not being assaulted, being played with by an adult who is not a paedophile, so everything's okay, yeah? But the reason the paedophile conversation comes in is when you type it into the internet about Ronnie Barker's son, it brings up all this stuff about paedophiles, and the guy that got in the crib with the kid looked a bit camp, that's all. That's all it is.
It wasn't a big show, but thing. I mean, a few people were. I mean, I think we ran into. But actually, it's not. He was just a 65-year-old man who was sitting and getting into the playpen with my Jimmy Perry, who's right, Dad's Army, getting into the playpen with my eldest son. You know, when he was about 1.5, and sitting and playing with him. And you think that's odd, but actually, it's not. He was just a 65-year-old man who was mucking and playing around with the kids, you know, like your uncle was or something, you know. But so it was almost the audience of these people that so once you're over the fact that it's Bob Monkhouse, then they'd be talking about mortgages and stuff, and you know, it wasn't a big show, but thing. I mean, a few people were. I mean, I think we ran into Danny LaRue a few times, and he was a early drag artist, and he was very, there's a few like that, you know. But mainly, there were Jason and Richard Bryars.
Richard Bryars, David Jason. These are famous people. I assume he's not going to list the bad ones. Like, I assume if Jimmy Savile had been around, he wouldn't list Jimmy Savile as well, because it would throw a funny stink in the air. Would he know who had been good and bad? Who got U-treed? And he did say that they'd met a drag act, or that the drag act was floating around. This is a lot of people that he's naming, like a lot of different people, and apparently just floating around. And Luke was quite happy with the concept of the drag act as well, despite being anti-Sam Smith.
Barry Cry, just really ordinary people, you know.
Is there any favourite sketches or shows?
Well, the show,
for you?
Show would be Porridge.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was his best work. There's a few good sketches. There's a few good sketches.
There's a few. There's a few dozen. Can I share a couple of mine with you?
Yeah, please do.
I love Round of Drinks.
Yeah, it's good.
I think I love Round of Drinks and the Mastermind.
Yeah.
What I found with a lot of the two Ronnie sketches, which is genius, and I'm sure it was purposely done, you don't actually know where it's going.
No.
And that's so clever, because when he's doing the Round of Drinks and he put down the girl with the bear behind would like a pink boob. I'll have a gin and tonic. Are these both mine? But there's only one there. And then I was thinking, like, and he keeps getting the order wrong, and it keeps progressively getting further away from what the actual drink is. Yeah. And then you're like, where's this going? And then eventually he goes, right, forget all previous orders. Just give me
a sack of Coke, 2 large rocks, 2 pink boobs, an enormous lemon, and a large bear lady of the house.
Yeah.
And then he walks out to give the drinks to the guests, and he just goes,
who ordered the pink boob?
And that just makes me fall on the floor. Who ordered the pink boob? I'm going to watch that again later. Who was your dad's best friend? Was it a Ronnie Corbett? Was it a David Jason? Or was it a man that no one knows about that's just not in the public eye?
It would be one. Jason he was very close to Jason. He was very.
It could have been a woman.
Close to Richard Beckinsale until he died. He was a good friend.
Was he quite close? Was he quite close to Ronnie Corbett away from the screen, or was that more of a work?
I mean, they would obviously meet up every now and then, but they didn't hang out because they was very close together for so much of the year anyway.
What were the two Ronnies like in a private setting? Were they just two normal blokes?
Well, two normal, very funny blokes. You get more than two together and it's chaos.
A good time.
Yeah. I mean, Aaron Morecambe was the most dangerous one.
Morecambe?
Yeah. he was just a dangerous man. Him and my old man got together. It was a bit tricky.
What work of your dad's was he most proud of? I have read that the making of Open All Hours was the happiest experience of his life.
I think probably, if you take a sort of series as a whole, I think he probably did think that. I think he liked that best of all, and I think that was mainly because he was working with David.
I was going to say, working with his good friend.
Yeah. With Open All Hours, yeah, he did. He got quite involved in the production of it. He was again working with the same guy, Sid Lotterby, who worked with him prior to. They were very close.
Yeah.
He was very much involved in how he would look through the camera.
What was his writing process, and do you take any inspiration from it yourself?
He would get my mum to type it up.
Oh, really? Okay, on a typewriter.
Yeah, and if she didn't laugh, he wouldn't send it in.
Wow.
That was a test.
So she had a very, very, very good sense of humour then.
Well, she had. She was very funny. I mean, she was. Yeah.
So was she? She was part of the team then, really, Joy?
She was really. Yeah, she was. Yeah. He'd wanted to laugh.
Wow.
She got the first sight of it, but literally as she was typing it up.
How do you feel when you see your dad's work on the TV now? Does it make you happy? Does it make you sad? What emotion does it invoke? But because the reason I ask that is, in one sense, you're seeing a man, your father, who I'm guessing is greatly missed, on the TV, and it brings back those memories. But at the same time, you've got a time capsule of your dad. You've got moving pictures, and you've got periods of time, and you can laugh.
Yeah.
At your dad's work and feel pride.
Yeah.
So I asked that. What emotion does it generally invoke from yourself?
I think it is more pride, because I think there's a separation between him at home and him on TV, and there was even when he was around. I would probably get more emotion from a bit of home movie footage of him.
Oh, right. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, well, that was... There always was his TV persona was different to his home persona. Not his behaviour, it just was a different person because he's an actor. So we'd sit together and watch him, and you have an objectivity. So when I see it, I see pride in the good stuff. Pleased that it's still around. I think it's nice for my kids to be able to see the granddad. When people find out, it's always quite fun for them, I think. And, sometimes.
Well, I remember when I found out.
Yeah.
I remember when we first got in touch, and my writing partner at the time, I think we found each other on the British Comedy Guide. We were looking for a third writer / editor.
That's right. Yeah.
Just to help with a few bits that we were a little bit stuck with because we're always trying to learn. And it come up. Larry Barker, I think I actually said Lawrence Barker.
Probably did.
And I made a joke to my friend, my writing partner, and I said, Barker. I went, imagine that was Ronnie Barker's son. Honest to God, I said that. And he
looked it up on Google and he said, no, Ronnie Barker's son's a nonce. There isn't a message board here on the forums to discuss writing your own comedy, but the British Comedy Guide is a website. General comedy discussion, questions about comedy, Monty Python. Has comedy become too political? Is it just me, or are all modern panel shows full of the same left-leaning woke liberals where all they do is poke fun at anything remotely right-wing, conservative, thinking or patriotic? Just seems like let's make a joke about Trump, Farage, etc., which is fine, but don't say anything about the likes of Diane Abbott, etc. Welcome to the site, Bob. That's a yes in case you didn't get it. Personally, I think any professional comedian who allows himself the easiest of pickings with Trump jokes should have their performance licence revoked. Well said. The next time I'm round your way, I'll stand you a couple of pots at the Alfred. Like this Bob Carroll Vorderman, whoever this is, yeah? This black and white image, it reminds me very much of Eddie's friend on Mixcloud, Derek Brown. Who used a black and white image of it's Joanna Lumley and this other dude, and they're in the telly programme from the past. And I don't know who this is and what that picture is, but it's black and white, and it just makes me feel like that. And like, what's going on the British Comedy Guide forums? Like, there are places on the internet where these horrible people lurk, aren't there? Talk to each other. Please don't be anything bad, please don't be anything bad, please don't be anything bad, please don't be anything bad. He hasn't opened anything. Shouldn't have pressed that, really. thbing.com, I don't know what that is. I shouldn't have pressed it, really. That was stupid. talking about which ladies they fancy. Always thought the ladies from the British Empire were quite tidy. Always thought the ladies from the British Empire were quite tidy. You've started a thread to try and pick out which ladies from comedy you would like to have sex with. And that's your choices. And what's going on here? Obviously, the lady from Titty Bang Bang is the one that the sexiest lady in comedy. Carolina Hearn's dead now, so you can't have her, but... Like, this lady is definitely... You can pick them, I'll pick this one, this lady.
By the second Earl, due to the marvellous views of the South Downs.
Oh, don't look at me. I'm just dust busting. Busting dust is so boring. Who wants to look at that? Not you. Oh, so much dust to bust and so few dust busting days to bust the dusting. Did I just say that? How boring. Oh, P.S. I'm shy.
The chimney piece is a Robert Adam original, made from finest Italian marble, specially If you just make your way back into the main hall, please.
Oh, don't look at me! Don't look at my long body legs! Oh, don't look! I'm shy!
Bozos.
That was the sketch that she used to keep doing. Bozos. Don't look at me, I'm shy. And then this one, I'm not saying this was my cup of tea in terms of attractive lady, but this was a funny sketch. I think.
Come on, Diane.
95 scored. All proceeds from tonight's charity friendly go towards a guide dog for the blind.
Golden retriever hanging in balance here, Diane. Get your darts head on, please.
I was 5 off a ton, Paula.
Scott and captain to the hockey, please.
Fetch me golden Arazan. Let's see if we can't make a blind person's life a little bit easier, shall we, Diane?
Come on, Paula.
Who let the dogs out?
Locking and loading.
0. We are shooting for the dog, not just the collar. 0.
Come on, Paula.
Leave it.
No score. Remember, the bigger the score, the bigger the dog.
It's Paula what needs a blind dog, isn't it?
What was that you just said, Anne?
Nothing, Paula. I was only joking.
Suffer terrible with my nerves, I do, Anne.
I know you do, Paula.
On same combination of tablets as Kericatona. And she had all that trouble with Brian McFadden.
We know you are, Paula.
Shut it, Diane.
Scott, ladies to the hockey, please.
That's you, Anne.
Wait, as it's for guide dog charity, and as you know, you didn't do quite so well on board, can I borrow your golden arrows, Paula?
No, you bloody...
Paula, that's Anne's dart hand. But I'll have to take her turn now.
No, you're all right. I'm on to it.
It's all right, Michael.
Right there.
0.
Right there.
0.
Right there.
0 score. Lucky if I get a working Pekingese at this rate, ladies and gentlemen.
Titty Bang Bang was the funniest. Lucy Montgomery from City Bang. But that's who's the this. What's this? Pantyhose detected new. This is the wrong sort of YouTube channel.
What are all you bozos doing here? Don't look at me. This is where I come so as not to be looked at. Naughty.
This is Angry Alan.
Are you from the agency? Yeah. Oh, right. Do come in and all that and everything. Please be my humble guest. There you go.
Zoe, pleased to meet you, Dom.
Oh, it's lovely to meet you too. Have you been eating meatballs?
No.
Oh, it must be the dog then. Oh, let me take your coat. That's it. There we go. Oh, heavy coat, Mr. Christian. Do have a seat over there. Please. Right, so how old are you? Let's take a look. By my reckoning, 46, 47.
It's rude to ask a lady's age.
So I'm right then, it's one of those, is it? No then. Let me pop a £20. That's for your services in your pocket. That's it. Would you like a cup of tea?
Yeah, all right.
Oh, would you know? And I suppose you've been wanting the whole roast grouse along.
No, just a cup of tea.
I'm only joking and all that and everything. Of course, you shall have your tea. Would you like sugar or sweet and low?
Sugar, please.
I said sweet and low, didn't I? And it's sweet and low. Oh, fuck off! Fuck off! What? An asshole! Forgive me. Do say it, forgive me.
I forgive you.
Oh. Now then, did the agency tell you that I do like to have a little whittle on me ladies?
Sorry?
You know, a little pee-pee. Nothing solid. I've not drunk much bubble today, so it should be quite sweet. Oh, that'll be a tea! I'm gonna put plenty of milk in that so your bones are big and strong so you don't break when I'm going at the tent. Oh, no, please, God, no, it's coming up. Don't leave me. Oh, God, I can't stop it. Oh, there we go. Oh, I'm sorry, Pooch, you're earning your keep now, aren't you? Oh, that is glorious. Oh, dear. Oh.
Honestly, that's funniest. Honestly, that's funniest.